The nightmare that's my reality. I woke up from a dream that was in fact my reality. I was covered in blood, but the blood didn't belong to me. Instead, it belonged to my ex. That's around a little over a day ago when I felt drowsy, so I dozed off, only to wake up about an hour later. It was around 9 a.m., and the birds were chirping and singing while I wasn't in the mood. I'd had a hangover from the night before of drinking and partying to celebrate my 24th birthday. That was a hell of a night until I spotted my ex dancing center stage, getting tips from men who made money rain down on her. I wasn't jealous immediately. I was pissed off as I observed her watching me every so often. First, I had no idea that she was a stripper. Next, if I had known, I damn sure wouldn't have held my birthday party at this strip club. I tried to avoid her, but how could I when her sexy skin reminded me of the good old days when we used to make sweet, sweet love. I didn't pay much attention to her as stripper after stripper gave me lap dance, one after the other as she observed me. It was near 5 a.m. and I at least guzzled 2 bottles of Hennessy, so my mind was someplace else while my body was still at the club. Before I knew it, a sexy, thick chocolate chick was on my lap grinding away. She wanted me bad, and I wanted her until she turned around to face me. "Luchelle, get the hell off of me," I shouted as she giggled. She didn't obey my demand. She just continued grinding on me nonstop. Well, one thing led to the other, and she ended up naked in my bedroom. Fast forward to yesterday morning, as I stood up in my kitchen with a hangover, and Luchelle exited from my bedroom in her lingerie. I'm flabbergasted by her beauty. It's unmatched. However, she's evil. She is the definition of insane, psychotic, mental, postal, and just all out crazy. Why did I put myself back into this trap yet again? I wondered to myself. Taking a look at Luchelle's beauty and her vicious curves was all I needed to see to answer that question. "Relax, baby," she said to me as she assisted me to the dining room table. She helped me take a seat. "I'll cook you breakfast, and I'll clean up around here." I looked confused. I know how she operates. She'll slither her way right back into my life like she did when we first met. Sure, she does the incredible, like cook, clean, and she's independent and beautiful, which is rare, but she is crazy. Oh damn, she is insane. I kept my focus on her as she paced back and forth in the kitchen to prepare breakfast for me to eat. "Luchelle, what are you even doing here?" I asked, causing her to giggle. She looked over her shoulder as she pulled out the carton of eggs from the refrigerator. "You invited me over, silly," she expressed. "Don't blame it on the alcohol, 'cause boy, you ain't Jamie Foxx." Her speaking is just giving me flashbacks of us basically making love in the club like we used to. I can't remember me leaving the club hand in hand with her as my homies told me to stop. Before I knew it, I had a 5-star breakfast place before me as Luchelle continued smiling while planting her lips on my lips. That kiss caused me to smile from ear to ear as I immediately remembered all of the horrible moments we've shared over the years. All of the verbal fights, the headaches she's caused me, and the personal relationships with my family members and friends that she's destroyed for me while we were together. Horror story after horror story she's caused me, which caused me to end our relationship for good just over a year ago. Do you know that last night was the same night we met 5 years ago, she mentioned. Puzzled, can't even explain how confused I felt at that very moment. "What?" I said, completely confused. "Yeah, that's right, sweetie. Last night, October 30th, was the same night we met just 5 years ago," she explained. "You must have remembered our anniversary or something. Whatever the reason was, we crossed paths last night. It wasn't by chance. It was our destiny." Jaw-dropping wasn't even the word. I just was shell-shocked. This has to be a dream, and I need to wake up. I'm going to stop by the club and get some of my belongings, then head home, she says, giving me a sigh of relief. "Then I'll be back," and we could go another couple of rounds or so if you can keep up. She kissed me once more before she walked off smiling nonstop. See you soon, baby, she says as she grabbed the car keys from off of the kitchen counter before she headed out. I was frozen in utter disbelief. I couldn't even speak a word. I couldn't tell her to not come back like I wanted to. As much as I didn't care to eat, I annihilated my breakfast as I called all my friends back to back. None of them even answered the phone. It's still early in the morning, and how we partied last night, it may be hours before any of them even wakes up. But still, that didn't prevent me from calling them over and over again. Meanwhile, Lucia arrived at the Club Caliente, her head held high, not lacking any confidence as she passed by the bouncers to enter into the club where she was instantly welcomed by Pimpin' Q. This gargantuan 6'5" man stopped her in her tracks. Lucia, what the hell happened to you last night? He asked. She rolled her eyes and kissed her teeth before she walked around him, causing him to grab her by her left wrist. He forced her to turn and face him. He scowled at her. He's pissed. Lucia, where's my damn money? He demanded. You haven't paid your tip out in weeks. Plus you owe me your escort fees. By my calculations, that's 12 grand plus interest. Lucia, he glared at her while she rolled her eyes. I hope you came to work early because every dollar you owe me, you're going to start making up today. Lucia took a step away from him, causing him to grab her by the throat. He shoved her up against the wall, ramming her back onto it. She struggled to breathe. Fear flew through her entire body as tears fell from her eyes. I'm done, Q. She struggled to speak. Her face began getting pale while he gripped even firmer around her neck. She looked into his eyes, staring into his soul. She knows that he can snap her neck in an instant if he wanted to. Everyone in the club watched, some in horror, while a few other strippers were filled with glee. Lucia is a moneymaker. She makes twice as much as all of them on a bad night for her. Some of them have a deep-rooted hatred for her, and that's being displayed currently. Okay, she pleaded as she could feel her soul getting ready to flee from her body. I'll dance. I'll pay you back. I'll do whatever you want. Pimpin' Q looked deeply into her soul for a bunch of moments before he loosened his grip from around her neck. Go and get ready. And make me some big money tonight, he stated. Lucia agreed. Not a problem, she spoke, causing him to let go of her. She gasped for air before she coughed a few times. He watched her, and he grew in aggravation. Go make me my money, he roared. Lucia gingerly walked off. She headed to the dressing room as Pimpin' Q waited impatiently. Quite some time flew by, causing angst to inject into him. That made him head to the dressing room as he attempted to figure out just what was going on. Lucia, hurry the hell up, he shouted as he entered into the dressing room and spotted the back door wide open. Lucia was gone, nowhere to be found. Anger filled him in a hurry. Lucia, you stupid idiot, he screamed. He rushed over to the back door to check the parking lot before he made his way to the front entrance. Lucia's car was gone, and so was she. Before more anger could find its way to Pimpin' Q, he realized something vital. That's my car you're driving, Lucia, he said aloud to himself. That has GPS, so ain't no hiding from me. At the same time, I was home, still with a headache, and now I'm speaking with my homie Ron. Yo, bro, are you stupid or what? He stated. Lucia had you wrapped around her finger last night. Please tell me you didn't sleep with her. We both laughed at his words. You know I did, I responded. Before I could continue, I heard the sound of my front door opening, catching my full attention. Baby, I need you, yelled Lucia, causing me to head over to the front door where she stood crying. Yo, Kareem, Say it ain't so, says Ron, who heard Luchelle's voice through the phone. I hung up the phone, failing to respond to him. My focus glued to Luchelle, who I immediately consoled. Are you okay, baby? I asked concernedly. She just gushed out tears that flooded my right shoulder. Don't worry, baby. I'm going to make you feel good, I made clear before I lifted her into the air and carried her to my bedroom where we made sweet, sweet love over and over again until I completely exhausted myself. My head was still throbbing as I'm still feeling the effects of my hangover. I fell asleep like a baby, and so did Luchelle, until a little after midnight, as her phone rang uncontrollably, waking her up from out of her sleep. Text message after text message displayed on her phone, which urged her to be very careful. Then suddenly, picture after picture flooded her phone of her entering into my home with tears smothering her eyes. To her surprise, it caused her to panic. She jumped up out of bed and rushed out of the room to call Pimpin' Q to plead with him to leave her alone. The moment she exited the bedroom to rush over to the front door to ensure that it was locked, she felt a hand wrap around her waist and her mouth. Pimpin' Q broke into the home and snuck up behind Luchelle. He then threw her down to the floor, towering over her with a gun in hand aimed at her. One sound and you're dead, he made clear. Luchelle begged and pleaded for her life. I'll spare you if you have my money, he says. Luchelle responded, I don't have any money, I'm broke. He shook his head and said wrong answer. The next morning I woke up, head still spinning from the night before last night, crust in my eyes while my head's pounding. I wiped my eyes only to have a warm liquid smearing it. I took a look around and spotted Luchelle lying next to me, covered in her own blood, with a razor-sharp knife in my hand. What the hell did I do?